Right now, as you watch this video, one man controls 5,000 satellites above your head. Not a government, not NATO, and not the United Nations. One person. So today, we're going to talk about why and what it actually means for the rest of us. Let's be clear about something from the start. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This isn't all billionaires are evil. This is about the systems, invisible systems, which are financial, legal, and political, that were quietly built over decades. And they work perfectly, but just not for you. To understand how we got here, we need to go back, way back. The year is 1890. America is booming, railroads stretch coast to coast, oil is the new gold, and steel is reshaping cities overnight. And sitting at the top of all of it are 5 men. Rockefeller controlled 90% of America's oil. Carnegie owned the steel. JP Morgan ran the banks and once personally bailed out the entire US government. Vanderbilt owned the railroads. They weren't just rich men, they actually controlled the arteries of the civilization. You don't like Rockefeller? Well, he cuts your oil supply. Your town upset Vanderbilt, the railroad doesn't stop there anymore. Sounds familiar? Rockefeller controlled energy flow. Today, one company manufactures about 90% of the world's most advanced chips. Morgan controlled who got access to money. Today, one person decides which country gets satellite internet and which goes dark. Vanderbilt decided which towns prospered. Today, platform algorithms decide which businesses survive. The Gilded Age ended because Teddy Roosevelt fought back. He broke up monopolies, rewrote the laws, and dragged these men into court. It was brutal, and it took decades, but it worked. Because here's the thing about the robber barons, they were locatable. Rockefeller's oil was in American soil. Carnegie's mills were in Pittsburgh. Morgan's bank was on Wall Street. The government knew exactly where to show up. Today's billionaires don't have a where. Let me walk you through something. A billionaire makes $10 billion this year. How much tax do they pay? You'd say, a lot, right? Well, watch this. Most billionaires take a salary of $1 a year. Their wealth is in stock. And in most countries, you only pay tax when you sell that stock. So if your shares go up by 10 billion, but you don't sell, taxable income, 0. But how do they actually spend money then? Well, banks will happily loan you 500 million when you have 50 billion in assets. Borrowed money is not income. So you're spending hundreds of millions paying almost no tax. But they have to pay it back. Sure, they take out a new loan to pay the old one. And when they die, in many places, their heirs inherit at current value. The entire tax bill is gone, completely legal. Now layer on top of that the offshore architecture. Holding company in Ireland, low corporate tax. Trust in the Cayman Islands means no income tax. Assets scattered across 12 countries under different entity names. Now imagine you're a government investigator. You want to figure out what this person is worth. Ireland says, talk to the Caymans. Caymans say, we don't share that. Singapore says, privacy laws. You're chasing a ghost through a hall of mirrors. And the most disturbing part, this came out, all of it. Millions of leaked documents, thousands of names, global headlines. And the conclusion that the investigators kept arriving at, most of it is actually legal. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as it was designed. So who designed it? Every year, corporations and wealthy individuals spend over $4 billion lobbying the US government alone. That buys campaign donations, friendly legislation, regulatory appointments, and an army of former government officials turned lobbyists, walking through what's known as the revolving door. Here's how it plays out in practice. A tech company faces antitrust investigation. They donate to the senators on the oversight committee. They fund research that says regulation harms innovation. They hire the former regulators as consultants, and they threaten to move 50,000 jobs overseas. Then the bill gets weakened, delayed, and quietly buried. The company continues as before. Now multiply that across every industry and every year. The people being regulated are writing the regulations. Here's where it gets worse. Everything we've talked about, the tax strategies, the shell companies, the lobbying, that's today. The future is even more extreme. There's no comprehensive legal framework for space commerce. The Outer Space Treaty was written in 1967, before the internet, before private satellites, and before any of this. When a private company starts mining asteroids worth trillions of dollars. Well, which country taxes that? Which court has jurisdiction? What law applies? The most powerful AI systems on Earth are being built by private companies. Now imagine an AI that can find every tax loophole in every country simultaneously, model lobbying strategies with perfect political precision, and predict regulatory action before governments even discuss it. Governments are already struggling to keep up with the current strategies. So what happens when those strategies are automated by superhuman intelligence? The gap doesn't just grow, it becomes permanent. At that point, the question isn't, are billionaires above the law? The question becomes, does the law even apply anymore? I want to be careful here. This isn't just about hating billionaires. This isn't about tearing down success. This is about something much more important. Who is actually in charge? Because we live in democracies. We vote, we elect leaders, and we pass laws. But if the infrastructure is privately owned, if the wealth is untaxable, and if the laws are written by the people they're meant to govern, then what does democracy actually mean? History tells us extreme concentrations of power don't last forever. The robber barons fell, empires have collapsed, and systems have changed, but only when the people understood what was actually happening. Only when they could see the game that was being played. That's the first step. That's why this conversation matters. So, if one man controls the satellites above your head, one company controls the chips inside everything you own, and a system built over decades makes both of them nearly impossible to regulate, is that permanent? I don't know, but I know that it doesn't have to be.